Hello, Glenn Denman here again, working on the bus, and I'm not sure which way to stand here with the light. It gets dark early now. It's just the beginning of November, so now it gets dark at around 4:30, 5 o'clock, unfortunately. I'm working on the bus and I'm installing a hitch on the back so that I can tow or flat tow a vehicle. So that's today's video, and we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Okay, so part of this hitch fabrication is happening in the dark at the back of the bus. So it's kind of dark, but I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can't get some video on this. Anyway, I do have a drop light out there, and so I'll just kind of show you what I'm looking at here for this hitch project. Here at the back of the bus, I'll try to shine some light on this here best I can. So the back of the bus has these skid rails, I call them. They're pretty firmly mounted in here. They're welded to some just solid, like 2.5 inch thick steel up in here. I'm not sure all what that is, but it's very structurally sound. And of course, these are 1/2 inch thick steel. So what I've done here is I fabricated this cardboard template. Try to get some light over here. This cardboard template here to kind of shape like I want it to fit. So about like that, except it'll be a little higher, so it'll be actually up against the part here at the top. That way there's any kind of movement of this, like in this direction, not going to happen, because it's going to be up against the steel here, and then it'll be welded or bolted through this 1/2 inch steel here. So I'm bolting this in so that I can remove it if I ever have to pull the engine or anything like that. So I've got this hitch here that I bought. It's quite a heavy-duty hitch. It's actually made for a Dodge truck, apparently, is what it came off of, a 2500 or 3500 Dodge truck. And so this end here, you can see, is what I started with. This side piece, which I'm cutting down using about 2/3 of it, which I have here, and I'll show you that in a minute, how I'm cutting. It's a little bit sloppy here, but it'll work. But these two side rails here on this thing fit almost exactly right between those two skid rails on the back of the bus, with just under 1/8 of an inch to spare on each side, so I can shim that. And so that's the project for today. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut some of the steel. And I don't have a cutting torch or anything, so I just kind of do it my own way. So that's what today's video is going to be on. So I've got a line here on my steel that I'm going to try to follow, this line right here, and that's the one that'll be up against the top end of that skid rail. So I want it to be pretty straight, because I want to have good even pressure all the way across that for that leverage point. And then I'm going to add a piece of steel up here that's actually going to sit on the top of that rail, but I'll show that a little bit later. So I'm just cutting this with the good old-fashioned Sawzall. I used to do a lot of fabricating back in my contractor days, fabricating steel, and not as a steel worker per se, but just the work I did involved a lot of that sort of thing, having to make job site fabrications. So I used my Sawzall a lot for that sort of thing. So again here, I want to that the other way. I want to try to follow that line as close as I can. So it's not going to work too well. What I do is I don't try to cut it too fast. So it's going pretty well. Pretty nice straight cut. It just takes a while. But I've only been out here for a few minutes and it's coming out okay. Coming out pretty good. Boy, that's some tough cutting though. Luckily it's kind of opening up for me as I go. Otherwise the saw blade would be getting stuck in there all the time. may not be able to bend this down. If I can, that'd be great, but if not, I'll just cut it off and grind it flat. It's actually pretty good. So then when I put this up against there, so I can weld a piece on here that'll sit on that ledge, I can grind that flat. There's enough steel left. Grind it flat, weld a nice big square block in here. Now it's pretty flat, so I can weld a piece in there. So this is looking pretty good. This side here, I'm going to just straighten this up a little bit. I don't know if I really need to worry about cutting this off anymore. This is going to be something like that. Suppose I could leave that there. It doesn't really matter. I don't want to cut any more than I have to. Although I will have to cut a little notch here because there's a piece of steel on the bus end of things that'll keep this from mounting flush up against that angle. So okay, so I've got the other side all cut now and kind of cleaned up. Not super good, but it works. Now I've got the thing upside down, mounted the other way, and this is what I actually started with, was this big apparatus here for a super heavy-duty hitch setup. So the steel is about 5/16 of an inch thick, as you can see there. And so it's more heavy duty than what I need, because I'm not going to be towing a backhoe and or anything of that nature. I'm going to be towing the smallest car I can get, and so it won't have any tongue weight because the car will be sitting on all four on the ground. Not that I'd be afraid of hauling a small trailer with a car on it. So the tongue weight really shouldn't be a problem, but there just won't be much of that to speak of. So now when you're using these blades, like this blade I've used quite a few times before. It's still in really good shape, but when you're cutting, if it starts throwing sparks, that means you're probably throwing teeth. So they won't last forever, but this one blade will probably finish this job. So you don't want to cut too fast and the blade just gets hot and it just burns it up. looking too bad. Pretty much got through this. I've still got the weld to cut, but I'm gonna start from this end. It's just pinching too much. The blade is just about cooked. It's got a little life to it, I guess. The blade has about lost its kerf altogether. Still got some down at the bottom. If I could put it flat right on there. Might work better. So the blade here still has a curve to it, sticking out a little bit. Here it's getting smooth on the sides, that's why it's pinching on me so much. So I might be able to cut here, and then I'll probably, to do that last cut, I'll probably have to put a new blade in, if I even have a good one. I was afraid I was going to hit the blade's done. Anyway. So, I only have about an inch to go here. I'm going to have to put a new blade in. But it's getting to be about 9:30 at night, so I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up for now. So that way tomorrow, or whenever I get back to it, I'll finish cutting this little bit, mark this out, cut this up here just like the other side. This thing's ready to start drilling some holes. Okay, I'm back out here at the shop, and I managed to finish cutting all the steel off of this thing. So this is basically how it's gonna be shaped. It's upside down from the original installation. As you can see, those loopholes are going to be on top. I don't know if they'll work there. I can always just make new holes in the bottom, or weld something on, or put some chain pieces on, or have them just hanging down, or whatever. There's a million ways to take care of that. And I'm not sure. I'll probably end up cutting off the old electrical connector I don't know if it'll work in that location. It might. I'll just leave it there for now. It doesn't hurt anything. And so I'm just about ready to go out and kind of mock it up. These are all the pieces I cut off. So I was able to cut all these off with the Sawzall, and worked out pretty good. And I still managed to use the same blades. So even though it kind of got bent up, I was able to kind of bend it back and finish my cutting. So I shouldn't need the Sawzall anymore on it. But now I'm ready to put it under the bus and just kind of see how it fits. I need to fire up the bus so it's up higher. Because now the bus is sitting almost on the ground. But I've got the block heater plugged in case I need to. So I probably will anyway, but for now I can fit it under there and see how it goes. I tried to fit it under a few minutes ago. It wouldn't quite fit, even though it's 1/8 of an inch, or a little more than 1/8 of an inch narrower. There was some burrs on this thing where people had skidded it on the ground on the bus. So I was able to grind those off. So I'm hoping now it'll fit up in here. If it does, then I'll hold it in with some clamps and mark it up for what I need to do for the next step. Looks like it's going to work. I just need to block it up in here somehow. It's almost there. Okay, so I've got the bus pretty much up in the air now, and I've got the hitch where I want it, where I think it's going to work. And I made these a long time ago. I built these little ramps that I could drive the back wheels of the bus up on, just to kind of get it up in the air if I had to. So now it's up in the air quite a ways. Plus I've got the air up on the bus. So I think it's in a pretty good place there, and it's pretty high. I don't think I'll have a problem with it scraping the ground, because the lowest point are these two skid plates on each, or skid rails on each side, and those are a good couple inches lower than this, so I should be in pretty good shape there. Maybe on a real steep driveway I'm pulling out of or something, but anyway, but that's as high as I'm gonna put it, and that's about as high as it's gonna go. I could get another 1/2 inch maybe, but I think it'll work fine there. Plus these holes are gonna be still available. I might just bend these tabs down a little bit just to make them a little bit more accessible, but for the most part I think it's gonna be in good shape. So being that this hitch is upside down also, I'm going to, there's a hole on each side here, I'm thinking is there, so if any moisture gets inside this tube it'll drain. So now that it's upside down, I'm going to drill a hole on the bottom on each side, and just to let any moisture that gets in there drain out. And otherwise the hitch pocket is open all the way through, so that's the only thing I can see where having it upside down might affect something. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and drill a couple holes through here, through about here, up here, and then I'm going to fabricate a deal for this here. That way this hitch can come out later if I ever have to pull the engine, and it'll all be bolted in place. And anyway, so that's what I'm doing now. So I'm gonna go ahead and start drilling some holes. So I'm gonna start out just drilling a couple holes here. I could have made these a little bit longer and come out just a little bit further, but maybe only about an inch. It's probably not gonna make much difference. So I'm thinking about right in here. Pretty much through the half-inch deal. Now I'm into the hitch. Okay. Okay, so I'm drilling the last hole, or finishing drilling the last hole. I've got a 3/8 inch hole there. I'm going to drill it with a 7/16 and then my 1/2 inch, and then that'll complete my 4 bolts on this side. I've already got the other side completely done, so that is what I'm working on right now. Plus I've drilled all these holes with just my DeWalt drill. So this is the 7/16 drill now. Tell you what, it's been quite a challenge here. Oh great. Shoot. So much for that drill bit. Tell you, I bought 2 1/2-inch bits today. I bought a $30 titanium one and then an $11 just carbide one, hoping the carbide one would do it. And so far I've drilled 7 holes with the carbide one. It's worked out pretty well. So I'm gonna see if I can't get one more hole, and I'll take my $30 bit back. So I bought that one just in case this one messed up. I figure I could buy another 11. I should have bought just 2 $11 bits. Now it's starting to smell like this bit's getting hot. It's still in good shape. If I could just get this last hole drilled. Almost done. Okay, so that pretty much concludes today's video on the hitch of the bus. So it's dark out here tonight again, and so I thought I'd just go ahead and show the final results. So here's the hitch assembly, and it's just about flush with the rear bumper, and it's all bolted on under there, if you can see that. Around the side here. So for anybody that's wondering about the shear value of those bolts, they're grade 5. I could have used grade 8, but grade 5 is works. And anyway, so a grade 5 bolt shear value, which is what this would be in shear as far as the strength that it needs, and those are 9,000 pounds per bolt. So there's 8 bolts, so you can do the math. And also, when you think about it, you know, I'm not going to have a tongue weight, although it could handle some tongue weight. And the tongue weight, though, would be a little bit different. It would still be shear, but there'd be some more leverage on it here, so that would put more pressure on the bolts, more than just towing a car. And but when you're flat towing, it's just more the push and pull of it, so it'll more than handle a car. And then also, when you think about it too, the pin that goes through the side here, the 5/8 inch pin, that's going to be probably your weakest point of the whole assembly. That pin, the shear value of that pin is by far way less than all of these 1/2 inch bolts. So that's a 5/8 inch pin. So anyway, so that concludes today's video. Hope you hope you enjoyed it. And it's trying to figure out this lighting out here. Hopefully this is going to work out. So but anyway, thanks for watching the videos, and take care, and God bless.